what's going on, y'all? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And you're about to watch a little OTB LSU.
We're going to give you all the latest, greatest between LSU football, baseball, women's basketball, softball, and everything in between.
Bottom line, if you want to talk Tigers, keep it locked, subscribe, like it, and we hope you enjoy the little LSU football blurb. Jake, as a familiar face, is back again, not for the first time, not twice, but thrice, as Trey Bradford is back at LSU. Yes. Now, you may be asking yourself, how is it possible to read that Trey Bradford is a redshirt sophomore and yet will be returning to LSU for the third time? It's a hilarious headline that reads as being absolutely ridiculous. And to be fair, it is shrouded in a bit of mystery. But here's how the timeline went down. Remember, he signed with LSU out of high school. He ends up transferring to Oklahoma after one season. He spends 2 months in Norman before transferring back to LSU for 2021. He did spring ball with the team, was mysteriously absent from fall. And then here's a quote directly from the Advocate, quote, "It is unclear where Bradford spent the 2022 season. Don't know what he was doing for spring of 23, but apparently Trey Bradford is back in the LSU running back room for whatever that's worth." Does this do anything for you, Jake?
The running back room is come one, come all. They are trying to just get together every quality, able body that they can because it's going to be a running back by committee. But you're talking Josh Williams, who, look, I still trust. I think last year he proved it time and time again. You have Noah Cain. You have Diggs, who's transferring from Notre Dame. John Emery's still up in the air, but if he's able to come back, Armani Goodwin, don't know what his health is right now. Don't know if he's going to be ready for fall camp, but you're just adding bodies to this roster. Now, this team knows Trey Bradford, and they know what he can do, and so you welcome him back to the team, and you're trying to get as many quality running backs as you can because you're going to play 3, 4 running backs. It's going to be that old rotation that we've seen plenty of times in 03 and 07 and 11 of running backs by committee. You're not going to have a bell cow. You're going to have an RB1. We've talked about that. RB1 is a different situation than a bell cow. A bell cow is what Clyde Edwards-Helaire was in 2019. He never came out of the game. RB1, you're the starter, but you're going to have 3, maybe even 4 other guys come in depending on what their skill set is. And so you're trying to add because, again, like we've talked about, like Diggs and Cain are different. Josh Williams is going to be different than John Emery if he's back, and Emery's going to be different than Trey Bradford. So that is the good thing. And in 2007, that's kind of what we had as well. Like, you know, Keelan was different than Charles. I was different than Richard Murphy, certainly. And Trenton Holiday was kind of an X factor. So if you have a running back by committee, I would prefer it to be like this. Have a bunch of different guys with different skill sets that can help you. Now, you don't want to fall into tendencies. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to be, okay, if he's in the game, it's going to be this. That's on the coaching staff to put you in a place to succeed. But if I'm going to do it, I don't want 4 running backs that are, 230-pound bruisers. I don't want 4 guys that are slashers. I want 4 or 5 different running backs. And it seems like that's what LSU has. Now it's on the coaches to put them in the best situation.
Yeah. Now, you say you know what Trey Bradford can do. What would you say Trey Bradford can do?
He's a track guy. He can go. He is somebody, early in his career. Remember, he played in the fall game against Florida. That's how long ago
I feel like I remember him.
Ole Miss game that year as well.
A receiver, I feel like.
Because if you get him on the edge, he has real track speed.
Yeah.
That is going to be his calling card. And again, like Josh Williams, he's going to be the guy in there in third downs. You can trust him. Tough yards. Noah Cain, tough yards. Inside runner. Remember the Arkansas game. Like everybody knew because of the weather situation, he was getting the ball, had a lot of success. He can be that downhill running back. And John Emery's kind of the guy that's a new and ah guy. He's going, like the Auburn game. John Emery takes that game over, so you hope he can come back in an LSU uniform.
Do we know anything about John Emery? Given his academic history, missing spring for academics is about as discouraging of an outcome as you
it is, but that's
hoped.
why you continue to stack running backs because you don't know with this group. You don't know, is Goodwin going to be able to come back from injury? Is John Emery going to be eligible to play? Right? And so, those are the question marks that you're going to continue to ask yourself. And so what do? You go get talent back on this roster. And if you have an available spot and you feel like that person can help, they know Trey Bradford, They know Diggs coming from Notre Dame. He was a player for a lot of this staff, or some of this staff, but obviously the head coach. So you know these players. You're not just bringing them in and hoping. It's kind of like, hey, we know our situation with two of our running backs that we're counting on with Goodwin and Emery. We need you to be available. We know what you can do. And so I'm all for, if you have the spot, add a guy that you know at that position.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now it probably feels like Williams, Kane, and Diggs are your most reliable. Like they're the ones that you know are probably going to be out there. They have experience. You feel good about them. I like the strategy, though. If you're unsure, and Brian Kelly said as much after spring. He said, look, on paper, it looks like we got a lot of guys, but there's a lot of context in that room that dictates that we're actually kind of thin. And so what do you do when you're thin at a position? Just throw a bunch of stuff against the wall, right? You can't always just go find some superstar that's going to magically come in and solve all your woes. So you throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see who ends up rising out of the muck, which I guess is what's going on with the LSU running back room. Remember Josh Williams, RB1. We'll see where it ends up going. Wow, Jake, what incredible takes.
I mean, those guys, they're just the best.
I think so. And if you think so, again, hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell so you get notifications when we post every single day here on OTB LSU.